Hi, I am Dr. Ronald Lett, CEO of the Canadian Network for International Surgery. The second lecture in the Structured Operative Obstetrics SOO course is on the relevant surgical anatomy. This slide shows a sagittal section of the female pelvic anatomy. This view provides crucial insights into the relationships of female pelvic structures, which is essential for understanding reproductive anatomy. You see the close relationship between the bony pelvis, urinary bladder, uterus, rectum, and sacrum. 1. External genitalia. The labia majora at thick skin folds and labia minora at thin mucous folds are visible externally. 2. Vagina. This canal extends from the vestibule to the cervix. 3. Uterus, located superior to the vagina. The uterus consists of the body and cervix. 4. Urinary system. The urethra is anterior to the vagina, and the urinary bladder is situated anterosuperior to the uterus. 5. Rectum is located posterior to the vagina and the uterus. 6. Pelvic floor muscles include the levator ani muscle, which forms the pelvic floor. 7. Peritoneum. This membrane covers various pelvic organs, forming pouches such as the rectuterine pouch, a pouch of Douglas posterior to the uterus. 8. Ligaments. The broad ligament supports the uterus, while other ligaments, like the round ligament of the uterus, are also visible. Not visible in this view are blood vessels, the internal iliac artery and its branches, including the uterine artery, supply the pelvic organs, and nerves like the pudendal nerve, which innervates the external genitalia and perineum. By thoroughly understanding female anatomy, cesarean section providers can ensure safer procedures, reduce complications, and improve outcomes for both mother and baby. Knowledge of anatomy helps optimize incision placement and avoid complications. Understanding anatomical variations due to adhesions and uterine scars is essential for making decisions on the technique of future deliveries. To conduct any surgical intervention safely, it is necessary to appreciate the anatomy that is involved. In one study, 90% of specialist obstetricians thought it was important for trainees to know about the rectus muscle and sheath, uterus, tube, mesosalpinx, ovary, infundibular pelvic ligament, and blood vessels, bladder, omentum, uterine vessels, uterosacral ligament, cardinal ligament, broad ligament, and the externa and internal anal sphincters. It is important to know the relationship of organs with each other, their blood supply, and nerve supply. The bladder is located anteriorly in the pelvis, just behind the pubic symphysis. The urethra, a short tube that extends from the bladder to the external urethral opening, lies anterior to the vagina. The bladder and urethra are separated from the vagina by the pubocervical fascia. The vagina is positioned between the urethra anteriorly and the rectum posteriorly. It extends from the cervix to the vaginal opening. The rectum is separated from the vagina by the rectovaginal fascia. The uterus is situated superior to the vagina, with the cervix forming the lower portion that connects to the vagina. The cervix supports the upper female pelvic floor, connecting to the fascia of the anterior and posterior vaginal walls. The uterus is supported by various ligaments, including the broad ligament, which also supports the fallopian tubes and ovaries. The rectum is located posteriorly behind the vagina and uterus. Anatomical changes in pregnancy are primarily driven by hormonal influences, particularly estrogen and relaxin, as well as the mechanical pressure exerted by the growing fetus and uterus. These anatomical adaptations allow the body to accommodate the developing fetus while maintaining maternal physiological functions. The bladder remains loosely attached to the front of the uterus, and although the bowel tends to be pushed back by the pregnant uterus, it still may be harmed during surgery. The uterus enlarges up to 20 times in size, ascending from the pelvis into the abdominal cavity. This displaces abdominal organs and alters the positioning of surrounding structures. The growing uterus pushes the bladder anteriorly and inferiorly, potentially affecting urinary function. The enlarging uterus elevates the diaphragm, pushing the heart upward, to the left, and somewhat forward, making the heart appear larger on examination. The expanding uterus also displaced the stomach and intestines upward and laterally. The symphysis pubis and sacroiliac joints experience increased laxity, accommodating fetal passage during birth. The center of gravity shifts posteriorly, often leading to an increase in lumbar lordosis and thoracic kyphosis, abdominal muscles. The rectus abdominis muscles elongate and separate along the linea alba. The lower uterine segment is usually located behind the urinary bladder. Therefore, the bladder must be identified and possibly mobilized before entering the lower uterine segment. To avoid injury to the bladder, surgeons must be aware of its relationship to the lower uterine segment. A Foley catheter helps with bladder identification. The surgeon must know the blood supply to the abdominal wall and the uterus. Abdominal midline is less vascular than lateral tissue because vessels tend to come from the sides and branch. The anterior abdominal wall muscles can be divided into two groups. 1. Flat muscles located laterally include the external oblique, a middle layer of the internal oblique, and the deepest layer, the transversus abdominis. 2. Vertical muscles is near midlina, the rectus abdominis, muscles large vertical muscle on either side of the linea alba and the pyramidalis, a small triangular muscle superficial to the inferior rectus abdominis. The blood supply to the anterior abdominal wall includes the superior epigastric artery, a branch of the internal thoracic artery, and the inferior epigastric artery, a branch of the external iliac artery. The innervation of the anterior abdominal wall muscles primarily comes from the thoracoabdominal nerves, see T7 to T lanesin, which supply most of the anterolateral abdominal muscles. The iliohypogastric and ilioinguinal nerves supply lower fibers of internal oblique and transversus abdominis. The phalansteal incision is a transverse lower abdominal incision commonly used for cesarean sections and other pelvic surgeries. The incision is about 2 finger breadths above the pubic symphysis, extending laterally towards the anterior superior iliac spine. This layer contains the superficial epigastric vessels, which may require ligation if the incision is wide. After dissecting through subcutaneous fat, the anterior rectus sheath is divided transversely. The rectus abdominis muscles are separated vertically along the midline, preserving the muscle fibers. The peritoneum is entered vertically. The pregnant uterus is one of the most vascular organs in the body. You must know the vessel that supplies the uterus. Uterine arteries are the major blood supply to the uterus, with significant collateral blood supply via ovarian vessels. The uterine arteries originate from the internal iliac arteries, while the ovarian artery originates from the aorta. The ovarian artery supplies the mid-portion of the ureter, the ovaries, and the tubes. This image depicts both the arterial and venous circulation of the pelvis. The uterine artery originates from the anterior division of the internal iliac artery. It courses through the cardinal ligament to reach the uterus. The uterine artery crosses the ureter anteriorly. Remember water under the bridge. The uterine artery divides into ascending and descending branches at the cervical uterine junction. In this image, note the relationship of the ureter highlighted in yellow, located beneath the uterine arteries. Attempts to control arterial bleeding without precise visualizations can harm the ureter. Be aware of the potential harm to the ureter during cesarean. Section 80–90% of ureteral injuries occur in the pelvic segment of the ureter, closest to the bladder. The pelvic segment of the ureter is highlighted in this image. Maintain meticulous surgical technique and generous exposure. In case of a sudden hemorrhage, use direct pressure and sharp dissection rather than blind cautery or suturing to control hemorrhage. Blind attempts at hemostasis are the cause of most ureteric injuries during the cesarean section. The better you know your anomaly, the safer you will be as a surgeon.